Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and help me get to my goal of 10,000 subscribers. In our first story, an entitled mother thinks that having tattoos should be a disqualifier. Let's jump right in. After I had so much love and support from my other two posts, I thought I would share something that happened to me a while back when adopting my puppy. Me and my fiance went to the Humane Society. Please don't give me hate because I went there. I know their tactics aren't great, but it was the love of rehoming a new friend. It was more a spur-of-the-moment thing. Shortly after arriving, we found a puppy that was everyone's favorite. He had meetings all afternoon. Nonetheless, we were determined to get a meeting with him also. The woman put our name down on the waiting list and we went about roaming while we waited. Shortly after, we went by the puppy section. Normally, we don't adopt puppies because we both work too much to give them the attention and training that they need. We saw a little black puppy named Delilah. She was adorable, and after we saw her, she perked up, did a little dance, and began barking. I guess you could say love at first sight. She was a total cutie. So I pulled the woman aside and asked if we could have a meeting with Delilah. She explained that there was another family that had went to lunch who wanted to look at her, but if they hadn't responded in the next 20 minutes, we could look. We actually found out later that these people had been out to lunch for almost 2 hours and had ignored almost every phone call that they had made for that full time, but the woman at the desk wanted to give her another 20 minutes to prevent an angry person. We were okay with this. The 20 minutes comes and goes. The woman comes up and says, "Let's meet Delilah." I was so excited, I could barely contain myself. We get in the room and Delilah and I instantly hit it off. We were playing, she was licking like crazy, it was truly a friendship made instantly. The woman comes up and says, "How are you guys getting on?" Famously, how do we go about adopting her? "Well, we would need you to fill out some paperwork and then once everything checks out, you can take her home. We will do a visit in a week to make sure she is in a good home. Is that okay?" "Absolutely, let's get it going." We begin paperwork and are about halfway through when a Karen with a hyena laugh comes storming into the door. Her and her husband were joking about and being loud. We ignored it and focused on paperwork. About 5 minutes later, we hear this same woman begin getting upset at the counter. "What do you mean someone is in the process of adopting her? We were on the waiting list to see her." "Ma'am, we've been trying to call you for almost 3 hours and you haven't answered. We had other people wanting to meet with Delilah." "It doesn't matter. We were on the list. We went to lunch and said we wanted to meet with her when we get back." "This is why people hate the Humane Society." At this point, I put my head down and began grabbing my license for the computer. "How could you let these people adopt an animal? He obviously doesn't have a job. How could he afford to care for a dog?" I actually get this a lot because of my tattoos and gauges. I'm used to it. "You are really going to let someone like that adopt an animal? That's just reckless." "Ma'am, please do not insult them. We gave you 3 hours to come in and they were waiting too. If we feel they can't take care of her, then we will allow you to visit her, but not until we have looked into it." "And just how long do you expect us to wait? My time is valuable." "It's okay. There is no way they will get through the screening." We continue the process. I don't think these people realize we can hear them, or they do and just don't care. Probably that one. "Our kids have seen that dog and want her so bad. This is going to break their hearts. There is really no way we can prove that we are more capable of caring for her." "Ma'am, we have to give them the chance. You'll just have to wait. First off, you need to drop that attitude with my wife. You're asking us to break our kids' hearts over this, and all over giving a couple of hooligans the ability to waste your time and ours." At this point, they began talking where we can't hear, but the pointing at us didn't stop. Then, about 20 minutes later, we are fully approved and begin getting her ready to go. At this point, the people were informed. The entitled mother went crazy. "What? I cannot believe you wasted our time like this. Believe you are going to be billed for our time. My husband makes more in a week than this facility makes in a year. I hope you're all happy. My kids are going to cry themselves to sleep over this. You just broke 2 kids' hearts today. I will be leaving a bad review. Honey, calm down. We can call our lawyer and have him look into the legality of this place. I see the kinds of people you guys let adopt here. None of this fazed me though. I had a beautiful new baby. She just turned 5 years old. She went from 5 pounds and is now 46 pounds. She is just as lovely as the day we met and is one of my best friends. In story 2, we have an entitled daughter causing chaos on a plane. Please note, I wasn't on this flight, only my dad was. I'm writing this from what he told me, my brother and my mom, so the details won't be exact. Also, the girl was about 6 years old, so we can't blame her. This is just how she was brought up. Now on to the story. So this was a 7-hour flight from Abu Dhabi to London on a 2-story plane. I've forgotten which plane exactly. My dad was sat a few rows back from the entitled family, but that meant he could still get a good view of what was happening. At first, things were normal. The plane had a smooth takeoff and was now climbing to cruising altitude, so the flight attendants were about to start preparing the food and drink trolleys. This is when the girl started to misbehave. Even though the plane was still climbing and the seatbelt sign was still on, she decided to jump out of her seat and run up and down the aisle, which made everyone look except her own mother. One of the flight attendants managed to catch her and bring her back to her seat and asked the mom to control her, but the mom just waved her hand in a sort of go away kind of action, so the flight attendant sat back down. About 30 minutes later, the flight attendants had started bringing the trolleys around, which obviously meant that the girl could mess about again. This time, she tried to climb on the trolley when the flight attendant's back was turned because she was serving a random person on the other side of the aisle. But luckily, the flight attendant stopped her again before anything too serious could happen. She once again talked to the mother, but the entitled mother didn't pay any attention. Once the flight attendant had moved down the aisle, the girl was up again and decided to go upstairs. Remember, I said this was a 2-story plane, to where first and business class are. But the attendant up there stopped her at the top of the stairs and brought her downstairs to look for the mother. The flight attendants and quite a lot of people were now really mad at the mother for doing nothing, but by this point she was on a phone call and ignored them. The girl went up the stairs about 5 more times over the course of the flight before they got someone to guard the stairs. Someone had also moved into the entitled family's row now for some reason, so the girl couldn't go out, or so people thought. The girl now realized she couldn't get out the way she was going before, so she decides to go straight over her seat, literally parkour over there. Unfortunately for her, there was a nice couple behind her who pushed her back into her seat, so for a minute there was a pushing battle between an elderly couple and a 6-year-old girl, before the mother shouted at the couple to stop touching her daughter. The girl then climbs down and disappears from view, and then pops up in the most unexpected place, between my dad's legs. She had crawled under about 5 rows of seats, somehow avoiding people. My dad had no idea what to do. He couldn't touch a random girl, especially after the mother shouted at the last people who stopped her, but before he could think of anything, the girl was off, until she tripped and was caught by a flight attendant. She was then taken back to her seat, and somehow the last hour of the flight was peaceful. It is amazing how some people raise their children. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.